Hi, everyone. Now, listen, I'm back with another episode. This is Pamela Butterfly, and I'm doing a segment, what I like to call Godspell. And this is the connection that we are going to make tonight from Lucifer to Jesus, how they are one and the same. All right. Let me throw out my disclaimer. I know that there are many people who um, believe in scriptures as far as the way that they were taught. And I get that. I grew up in Christianity. So I understand the teachings. However, um, I will say that the way a lot of us have been taught was misleading, wrong. Um, we were left with more questions than answers. Okay, so if you struggle with this information, just look it up yourself. I will be calling out scriptures for you, so you can be able to go and look up yourself and make those connections. And you can go through the Bible and read it and comprehend for yourself what it is saying. Now that that's out the way, you guys, I know that we grew up hearing, you know, worship Jesus and all this other stuff. There were people who disagreed with that back then, ended up killing him. And as of today, still people disagree with his message. All right. Or the message said to be his. Let's put that out there. Now, whether the characters are real, false, whatever, that's up in the air. That's not the focus. What is the focus is making the connection, all right, from Lucifer to Jesus. Now, I'm making this connection for a reason, and later on, we'll go into all of that in other later episodes. And I'm doing this for a reason, okay? Again, like I said, I grew up in Christianity. I grew up with, uh, understanding things to be what the pastor said, and I can disagree all day, but this is what's supposed to be what it is. Until I took it upon myself to read scriptures myself, read the Bible myself. And as soon as I opened the book, I already saw how the misteachings were just out there. And I was believing the whole time what these pastors were teaching, and they were teaching wrong because they don't comprehend. All right. So just because you went to theology school or whatever you want to say you've been to, stuff like that, if I look, you can read. A lot of people can read. Babies can read the word cat, dog, stuff like that. But they can see the word, but do they know when they see a cat or a dog that they can point to it? That's comprehension. If they can't, they don't comprehend. They just know how to read. So there's a difference, all right? Not trying to, say that people out here can't read. Some people are actually deceptive, and they give the wrong message because this is what they were trained to do. So, I can get my notes together. So just know that, like I said, the book told messages. It gave messages telling you what's happening, what's going to happen, what has happened. For some reason, we're lost. Okay, let's try to clear that up tonight. Now, let's make this connection from Lucifer to Jesus. Now, before going into scriptures, we're going to just sum up the story. All right. And the story goes, that there was this beautiful angel, and all this started in heaven, okay? Now, there was this beautiful angel that God adored, all right? The most beautiful one of all. Now, we're just talking about the story was written. Now, this can be interpreted to be metaphysical. It can be talking about what's going up above, down below. All right. So it can be taken in both areas because they're talking about what happened up above and here. All right. So we have to look at it in that way and not just take everything to be, oh, they're talking about heaven. Oh, they're talking about hell or whatever, because like I'm pointing out, they give you two different accounts for each event. All right. For each of these major events, they give you two different accounts, starting from the beginning of creation in Genesis. They start off with two creation stories, not one. And despite what people say, again, like I said, people can read. That does not mean they know how to comprehend. Moving along, there's the story of Lucifer, and he was beloved by God. Now, this story is going to sound familiar because you're going to hear it again in the New Testament, but only the characters will change in the New Testament, and as will the names, okay? But the roles pretty much still stays the same, all right? So let's stay focused on just the story. Let me let somebody in. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So I was just about to go into the beginning of the creation story. Who am I speaking to? Because I can't, I just see a number.
Randolph.
Oh, okay. How you doing, Randolph?
Excellent. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. So I'm going to go into just the story in general, okay?
Sure.
Now, and if you don't mind, I don't want to mute your mic, but if you can mute your mic so that way it don't be too much interference going on. So you have in the beginning, which in the beginning, when we're talking about the accounts of heaven, when we're talking about the accounts of heaven and what happened there, that starts in Revelation, okay? So this starts at the end of the book where they give you the accounts of this war. All right. So the beginnings, the beginning is in the end, and the end starts in the beginning in the Old Testament. Now, there's a reason for this, okay? But for the overall view, we're making the connection as to why the so-called beginning started in the end. So you have Lucifer, and he's in heaven already having a problem with how things are going there. All right. Now, God has his rules, his laws, and it is what it is. Same thing, again, we're going to find similarities, the story to be familiar. So Lucifer decides, I am tired of being your servant. I'm tired of doing every single thing, like as if we're just your servants, as if we don't matter, we don't count, our words don't matter. Now, mind you, Lucifer knew just as much as God did. Okay, so there's a problem with this knowledge thing because knowledge evidently brings upon power, and because there's a power struggle here going on in heaven, this war breaks out. God confronts Lucifer and tells Lucifer, hey, you know, I think we got a problem. We need to talk. And Lucifer's like, yeah, we do have a problem. The problem is I'm tired of slaving for you. I'm tired of doing this, that, and the other. And I don't agree. I know just as much as you do. You're not over me. I'm tired of this. I'm out. I'm leaving. Or either you can leave. Now, his original goal was to overthrow God and take over heaven. God decides to say, no, we're not about to do that. What we will do is we're gonna separate, because you don't need to run my house. I run my house. So he decides to cast Lucifer out and cast him to earth. Now he casts Lucifer to earth rather than dismissing this whole thing, as far or getting rid of him in another kind of way, because he already knew that he was trouble. When he kicked Lucifer out, others followed him. So he already knows that he has a tendency to be very crafty and get people to follow him. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because this is before God decides to make man on earth that this took place. Okay. So God already knowing that I got this fool out here, he roaming the earth, seeing who he can get to worship him as God, when I could just get rid of him. But that's not what happened. That's never what took place. So you have to ask, why not? But it will make sense later on, to where Lucifer decides to run earth. Since he can't have his kingdom in heaven, he's given earth. Now, he's known, earthly wise, as the father of lies, prince of the earth. Now, prince of the earth. I have to stress on the prince part, because you're a prince in line to become a king later for a reason. You're not just going to be a prince just to be a prince. You're in a prince in line to become a king. Again, we're going to make this connection from Lucifer to Jesus. Now, he is cast down to earth. Now, they don't give you the full accounts of what all took place, but Lucifer and the ones that followed him down to earth, okay, had children, okay? They ended up having children. Now, people would say, but where are these kids today? And blah, blah, blah. And that will tie into later on bringing into Jesus. All right. Now, Jesus comes in. He has a mother named Mary. Mary is a virgin. Okay. Now, Mary was specifically chosen to carry the seed for a reason. Now, we will have to make the connection as to what was Lucifer known for. All right. Not just, we all know, he was a deceiver and, a liar and all kind of other stuff. But what was he specifically known? He had even a nickname as the light bearer, or the morning star. Now, morning star is also in the Bible contributed to Mary, okay? as well as Jesus. Now, Mary, why would it be contributed to Mary? When we spoke about this Lucifer coming down and his followers coming down and making children, having sex and making children. Okay, now, again, the end is in the beginning is in the end. Nobody ever talks in Genesis about the first creation. That's why there's a big joke about, if Adam and Eve was the first people to be made, then who did Cain marry? I mean, if you don't teach it right, it's gonna sound stupid. So therefore, it could not have been possibly one creation. It was two. So in the Old Testament, in the first chapter of Genesis, all right, it gives you a creation story of male and female created he, them. Now, this is the first creation, okay? This is the line from which Lucifer and his followers came to father, so-called per the book, okay? Now, and God, so-called per the book, created Adam and Eve, which these are two separate creations. Even the way they were created are totally different, all right? Trying to show a difference between these people, so to speak. Can't speak about race so much, but they're showing you a differences in race, even down to the children when they have them like Cain and Abel, and how much they are so different, all right? Because they're coming from different sides of the spectrum, color spectrum, so to speak. Now, Mary comes from this line. And this is why she's chosen, and also why she is referred to as the morning star. Now, this morning star was known as the light bearer, the light bringer, okay? Light as in intelligence, knowledge, full of enlightenment, okay? This person was full of wisdom and could teach you things and get you where you needed to be, could help you out in any kind of way, all right? Let's think about this too in the case of Lucifer, all right? Because he too came with that knowledge and woke Eve up, all right? And because of it, this whole thing we're dealing with is because he dropped knowledge on her. He gave her a little wisdom and said, hey, God did the same thing to me and others in that followed me that he's doing to you. So if you want to realize what's really going on, then you have to eat of this fruit. So here you have someone bringing knowledge, enlightenment, an awakening. Now, many people would demonize knowledge and this awakening of getting yourself to become wise enough to know when someone's deceiving you or not. But Eve felt as if, maybe I need to understand this. So because of this, you have to see that the Old Testament speaks about a people they lack knowledge. Now, Mary, because she's considered these people to, let's say, come from this line of lacking knowledge, she's a little on the naive side. And let's consider the fact that she's young. So these angels come upon her and tells her that she's to give birth, right, to this child that's going to change the world. All right. Everybody's going to see her son as God. God with us. Now, God with us, which was supposed to be Emmanuel. Now, here's the thing. You have Lucifer, who was supposedly a deceiver of God, who did everything in opposition of God. But yet, he did God's will. He did God's work. Whenever God said do something, he was supposedly on the job. Okay. Jesus, he comes. Same thing. Here he is. God says, I am who I am now and forever. I never change, right? Don't even worship no idols that'll come and say that I am him, because that's not me, right? In the New Testament, Jesus comes saying, oh yeah, I said that, but I changed my mind. I'm me. I'm in the flesh. I'm an idol, I know, but you know, it's okay because I come with a new law. Okay? I come with a new law. You can worship me because it's me. I am God. Now, this already sounds shifty because, and you just lied. You said that you could, that God couldn't even be man. Then you turn around in the New Testament and said, but didn't I say that you were gods? So here you have a double talker. And again, Lucifer is known to be the father of lies. He's known to be the deceiver of the earth. Now, how was he deceiving people? Is saying clearly, starting off in Genesis, when he dropped knowledge on Eve. When he came opening up his mouth with that good message, that good news of, hey, you ain't got to be no slave for him. I ain't no slave for him no more. I broke free. And he gave me this land. So him breaking free, being casted out of heaven, he still was rewarded. Even when he disobeyed and did wrong. He became the prince of the earth, knowing what he was already doing. And this is an omniscient God. So omnipresent God, and this God knows everything, knows when it's going to happen. So he already knew that the devil was going to come and deceive the people. And maybe that's why he can already say that the people were going to be damned anyway, because y'all go follow him as soon as you come, because you're going to think he's going to be the real deal, and he's not. So I'm going to just damn y'all anyway. Could be a good reason. But here it is. You have Jesus, who come bearing a message, just like the serpent, enlightening these folks. And just like the serpent, he came for the bottom of the earth people, the so-called castaways, the thing that disgusts God so bad that God don't even want to be in the presence of these people with their behaviors and how they act and do things, how they praise and worship and all this stuff, right? But Jesus, he decides in the flesh that he's going to come in his weak will self, okay, in his human fleshly self, flawed self, that he was going to come and dwell amongst these people. Now, you're supposed to so-called be, of course, you're born into the earth, you're born into the world, but to entertain it in the negative ways that God, so-called had a problem with. Evidently in the flesh, when he comes, he doesn't have such a big problem. He still has it with certain people, okay, that he decides to bring wrath on. Same thing what Jesus did, same thing what Lucifer said. He's coming to bring wrath on the people. Jesus came, he came for the people. He decided to get the bums, the castaways, the drunks, the drug addicts, all these people, the whores, the whatever you want to call them, he had them following him. And they ended up doing every single thing, or tried to, because, he was a double talker in the kind of sense. So it's kind of hard to keep up with what he was saying. And then you got to, factor in the fact that he would change up his look. So 1 minute, he's saying he's who he is. And this is how he convinced people that he was the one, that he comes on his, his human self and say, hey, yes, I am he. Everybody looking like, I don't know about this, because don't we know your mom and your daddy? Now, all this stuff this man had to deal with while he was on earth, but then to convince these same people, these same doubters, he does a magic trick. Okay, he does some wondrous stuff, and the same thing that God in the Old Testament, aka him, had a problem with these people doing. Okay, because he done said these people was devils. All right, evil people doing rituals and stuff that is a blasphemy to him. But Jesus comes, aka him, who had a problem with all this. He comes in the flesh and decides to do all these things, not to just prove that he's God, but to change people's minds. All right? Instead of just saying, all right, well, it's on you. If you don't know who I am, then you don't know who I am. No, he got to convince these people. He even resorted to crying. I am who I am. I said I am him. Now he does all this to convince people that he is God and for them to worship him. Same thing that Lucifer tried to pull off. All right. That again, that's why he got kicked out in the first place in heaven, because God was like, you not running nothing here. I'm the God. You be God somewhere else. Go down there and be God. If those people choose to follow you, then they can have you. But my people are my people. And he even tested God. He even tested him. Excuse me, sorry about that. He even tested him by giving him his servant Job. Okay? Testing his servant Job. So here it is, a cat-mouse game that they playing with each other. A willpower, a power struggle against these two. It gets set off, though. In Revelation, he says, now mind you, he was already supposed to come. He said he come to do his father's will. Now his father's will, are we talking about the flesh-made fathers? The line of David? Or are we talking the will of your father, God, which that's supposed to be aka you? However, you are in opposition with yourself, supposedly, because he's claiming to be who he says he is, yet his story don't add up, because how are you changing your mind? You tell us to follow a certain law. We following it. We think we doing right. Then you claim now here in the flesh that you the same one that told us to do this law, that we doing it wrong now. So we doing it wrong, and to do it your way and worship you. Oh, and not only worship you, but not even say God anymore, but your name. So here it is again. Somebody trying to be God. Now, we're going to go into speaking about how scripture lines these things out for us. And I'm not going to go into every scripture because I'll be all day here and we don't have time for that because I'm already over time now. But I'm going to give you some scriptures that you can look up for yourself and read to see if you can understand these connections. And everyone should read Revelation. And then read from the beginning. And that will clear up a whole lot of stuff if people ever want to know how to read the Bible to understand it as far as who's played who, or it can help a lot if you start at the end. Start in Revelation, read that, and then start in the beginning in Genesis, and then read that and see if that doesn't make a difference in your understanding of how you was learning it before. Now, we're going to talk about worshiping the image of the beast. All right. And they give us an actual image of this supposed man that they say actually lived, but nobody has an accurate description of him, because that would be crazy. Nobody has knows really what he looks like, because to have the face of God, even or the devil, that would be insane, wouldn't it? But here it is. They're telling you in scriptures that this person lived. Now, we are making connections to Revelation 13, 15th verse. You can look about the worshiping of the image there, okay? Because when you do a cross, the man on the cross, the man without the cross, whatever this is, you still worshiping man, an idol, okay? An image. And it's like, if you weren't worshiping an image, then you can imagine if this man is black, white, green, orange, purple, none of that stuff, because he doesn't have an image. He wouldn't even look like a man, even if you could figure out what a God would look like. But rather, they give you the image of a man. Now, look at Revelation 14, 6, and you will go through like the lies. Okay, excuse me. You will go through with the good news. Okay, the good news that the serpent had to bring. Now, also, here it is where you, me, all of us who was supposed to be under this Christian understanding, this God understanding, we keep talking about a creator. And the creator is different from God. Now, even the serpent give praise to the creator, who created the heavens, the earth, and all this stuff. But that's not the same as this God, because this God can transfigure, can transform, can be a light. This light was seen supposedly falling down from heaven to the earth. And this was Lucifer being cast down from the heavens unto earth. Jesus, whenever he goes through his transfiguration, he transformed into his light, into this light. When we are making connections to worshiping the beast, to worshiping the image of this God and of this man, or what we are said he's to be. Here, where we are not paying attention to, we are worshiping really what they consider to be the beast. Now, the beast reigned for 1,000 years. However, it's not so much as the beast that reigned for 1,000 years, but what the beast set up and created is what reigns for 1,000 years. The foundation set is what reigns for 1,000 years before that gets changed, because we're looking at what the good news is, and we are figuring out what and how Lucifer came down and deceived man, how he ended up giving a message to man to deceive them, to make them go his way. So when he came in the flesh, he ended up giving a message to these people, and they did just that, followed his way. So you are making connections between Jesus and Lucifer, showing that these two are the same. They are one and the same. Are you back? Rudolph got knocked off, and
Yes, I'm back.
coming back on. All right. Yeah. So what did you have to add in?
Nothing
What
to
did you have
add.
to say?
Oh, it was a good story. I like to hear people's rendition of it. It goes into the idea of polytheism, which is what the United States is based on, secular humanism. They're not Christian. They're not Muslim. They're what they came here to do.
Yeah, my focus tonight is just making the connection.
Oh yeah, you did a good job of connecting with Lucifer and Jesus. However, I'll add this part, because you're dealing with a symbol. You must know that when they say what God looks like, they're talking about as they appear in heavens, which is the bright and morning star, that's the sun. Now, when you try to make it look like an animal, it look like a lion, and try to make it look like a human, well, you might want to say it's a dark-skinned person from Ethiopia, but they got what they call dark-skinned Europeans, too. So, your story, you did a good job if you want to use the compare and contrast paradigm. But, I'm going to use continuum.
So what I'll say here is, now, I haven't gotten into talking about symbols, which I will on other episodes, because that's going a little deep. But you said what now?
It allows people to come with their own ideas, and you really can't get a focus.
Oh, definitely.
That's why they forbid after you get, like, for instance, in supremacy clause in the United States of America. Once it gets to the federal, everything you're familiar with, which is pretty much all we know, you got to put that on hold and let's do the thing that they say do now.
When it comes down to that, like I said, that goes deep, and I'm gonna go deep on that. Yeah. And you and I are going to disagree.
That's good.
And I already know we are going to disagree. But
privacy clause, but that's it. Everything else you said is perfectly valid.
However, I'm about understanding. I'm about bringing forth understanding, trying to connect like minds. However, I'm also the type of person, if you, that's fine, believe what you want. I don't care. Now, that but when it comes down to my whole point of bringing topics like this up, is because too many people have been misled by people who claim they know how to read and comprehend scripture. Just because they spent a couple of days in school, and even if, let's say, they do know the correct message and what's really going on in this book, why are you deceiving the people?
Okay. It allows it. It's sort of like the United States of America. We can elect an idiot if he got popularly elected and got past the electoral college.
So you have a bunch of people, let's say a bunch of idiots somewhere, right?
Don't call them that, but I got to.
No, I'm just not gonna say idiots. I'm gonna say you have a bunch of people somewhere who let's say, like the Bible said, they lost, right? Mm-hmm. And you have this pastor or this person who comes and says, hey, I have the answers y'all need. Just follow me, right? Okay. Now, you're supposed to have discernment, supposed to know when evil is among you. You know what I mean? When something bad is about to happen to you. But instead, you got so much junk that's happening in the church that you got pulpits full of deceivers trying to get money out of the people, right? Trying to deceive the people. And like Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar. Like, that's Caesar's face on the money. That's his money. What I'm gonna do with that? That's not my money. Why are we asking for that in church? That's still not his face on that money. So he don't want that money. If he denied it in the flesh, why are we not denying it now?
They were used to selling. You ever heard of indulgences?
Look, I get all that, right? Yeah. But we're talking about specifically about the money. If he made claims about the money, why are we asking for that same money?
because we're going to need to pay our taxes. Say, for instance, the business of the church has got confounded with other things that are non-related, just like they do today. There's a lot of churches who are in trouble with the tax court because they enter into areas non-religious. So that happens a
You
lot.
got to pay your taxes. So the people, you asking the people to pay your taxes for you, they got to pay their own taxes, right? When it comes to their house and stuff like that, they got to pay their own taxes, and also help the church pay their taxes. But yet the church God don't want your money. The church do. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm going to tell you extra. In the Federalist Papers, it says that is an economic, that's an engine of state policy. So whatever the state's funneling, they're going to be carrying it because it allows to keep people marshaled easy before they, bring them into this great thing that I agree is part of a continuum instead of a flipping it upside down. I don't use dichotomies. I use continuum because you're gonna mess with somebody's mind, and they'll put ideas against each other instead of, in perspective.
And the whole book is designed for that matter.
You can't say that.
I can't?
No.
Okay.
You have your opinion. I'll take it back. You can say it, but that is not that is you don't speak for the book when you say it.
Oh, I do speak for the book because the book says it. I'm not pulling this out my ass. This is what's in the book. The book said, even from the beginning to Revelation, says, I come to bring wrath, I come to bring division and all this stuff.
Yes.
The book says it. I'm not saying this.
Okay, that's a parable to what we're doing in America. In America, the judiciary interprets the laws. You can read them, fine. But what the collective place to answer that question interprets it. So, that's the point. They're doing something similar to what we're doing in America because the function of it is exactly like the homeostasis in the body. Anything. We talk about it differently, but it's not changing.
So I get your point, and it's not as if I don't understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, what was that?
That's good. The partial agreement is progress for us, right?
I'm not going to say I disagree with what you're saying. A lot of things, I do disagree with when you say them. But like I said,
remember, disagreeing with me is not disagreeing with the person you're talking to. You're going to be disagreeing with a whole lot of people in authority.
I'm disagreeing. It's not about a whole lot of people. It's about what you be talking about. And sometimes, I do disagree because the information ain't accurate because that's your opinion. When I tell you I'm coming with information and I can tell you something that you can disagree with, but if it's in the book, it's in the book. You're not making an argument with me. You're making an argument about the book. So, like I said, I can disagree about your opinion.
You don't want to disagree with those people.
Look, I'm just reading what's in a book. This is this.
No.
Okay, so I'm not disagreeing with anybody. I'm saying what's in a book. Okay, now they can disagree with what's in there all day. I didn't write this shit. Somebody else did. So therefore, they can't make no argument with me because I didn't write it. But I am the one to break it down in scripture so you can see what's going on.
All that foolishness even in the Bible. They call that foolishness in the Bible.
If something is written there, if something is in the Bible and I didn't put it there, right?
You just but you pasted a snapshot of something of Titus 3, and it will tell you that right there.
So you trying to say that I'm using scripture?
You buy the book. So you won't be stepping on nobody's authority.
Okay.
See, the problem of language and the problem of choice. You see, when you get two people doing things for the child, one gonna set the standard, the other one come and confirm it. That's getting rid of the choice problem. Now I got to go with the language problem. Okay, people saying it this way, you got people saying it that way. Okay, then they got to go to this proceeding and say how they're gonna say it. It's not gonna be what this person said. It's not gonna be what that person said. It's gonna be what the court said, and that's gonna be the end of it. So we got the language out the way. You're gonna say the and not the.
Listen, I get all that, right? But like I told you before, I'm just a simple person reading the book. All right. Understanding it in this context and I'm what?
You're not a simple person, you're a radical. You look at your past right there and won't change. Your parents go along with the system, but you won't change. Why? Because they raised you separate from your parents.
Change is going to happen regardless. Like I told you, change is going to happen regardless.
Let's take Rahab for instance. She would not jeopardize her family, even though she could have just left that war and been free. She wanted to take care of her family first. And this is what's going on right now with this gender dichotomy. But they didn't think about the child's family. They don't think about her family because they're using her to cause the severance or the great fall away or the reset, if you don't use continuing.
So you rather somebody who has been miseducated to continue to just stay like that?
No. Undereducated is on purpose. So we can keep on going and bring everybody up just like you're doing 2030 agenda, leaving nobody behind. But if you interpret yourself, you're going to leave somebody behind.
So
you're going to automatically.
So in other words, you with the same understanding of you don't have enough knowledge to read a damn book yourself and comprehend it. You got to go to a school and say, oh, yeah, does this say this? Oh, okay. Is that what you're telling me?
Try this. I'm going to say it like they told me. In Federalist Papers, if you change things too much, people are going to fight. So what have you accomplished besides a war if you change the speech?
Again, I am not going to take the blame for somebody's actions because of words. You are not going to put that on me. Again, like I said, if somebody breaks your heart, right? Number one, here's the thing. It's up to you to fix that. That ain't on that person to fix that. No, yes, it is. It's on you to fix your own heart. It's not you. You putting the responsibility on somebody who broke your heart. Okay. You're gonna ask them to try to fix it for you?
Insurance claim. You're gonna share obligations because you can have accidents to both there.
Repeat what you said.
So somehow my feelings got tied up in your feelings. Somebody told me a fantastic story. Maybe it comes from Europe. So I pick up gems and press it into the beach or something that motivated me. But we got to get back to distance to science so we can sustain ourselves.
Look, everybody has a different path of how they're gonna go.
How? Yeah, I mean, what was the different one?
Everybody has different paths on how they go about living life and how they go about experiences and the way you.
Let's start getting into Earth first. How do you get it?
How do what?
How do you get into Earth? What's the portal?
We not going into all of that because, like I said, we understand about the woman. Okay, we understand about the womb. All right.
We're replacing gravity, and if we're going to have a replacement and it is effective, we got to be unified on it.
So how are you going to unify when you always disagree?
Who told you I disagreed? I have a stipulation with them
on many occasions.
I have a stipulation with everybody. You lost your central. You became central. You became the person that got kicked out of heaven. Okay, compare yourself to what the Bible was doing. If the Bible says this about that guy, but that guy is leading us to the court, and Jesus is waiting for us to come on our own, who will be more effective?
I'm not fortune telling in that.
Satan, or whomever it is that's bringing these frivolous charges to get us before the court. The Godhead judging amongst the gods in Psalms 82 and cited in John chapter 10,
Why
verse
are we
34.
getting on? Why are we getting on that tonight when that had nothing to do with the topic at hand?
They're kindred topics because you're talking about how it became cast out of heaven to the earth. Remember, it was in heaven. You're looking at the sun, and you're measuring time. But when you get to earth, you deal with humans.
Right.
So we talk about the heavens on earth, just like our Father prayer. So that's in Jesus, right?
That's your Father?
So instead of doing an orb in the heavens, the bright morning star, we're gonna have a star. The what's the name they say on TV? The War of Thrones or Stars? Star Wars?
I don't watch that stuff on TV.
Okay, Portis is our star. How about that? Other nations have kings, emperors, and that kind of thing. Whatever that central person is. But we didn't centralize things in America to Clinton. So we're trying to be like the heavens. And we have this 13th constellation on the dollar bill with humans. There's
and that
12 zodiacs.
Even more so what I was saying about change happening regardless. Okay.
But I'm saying how to catch the heavens. I'm going to catch it. So the third is motivating us to procreate on earth, just like this enforcement of order and regulation in the 12 zodiacs. That's why he had to. That's why he had to select 12.
Into that. I'm going to get deeper. I'm gonna do an episode, and I would love to have you talk about when we get into cosmology, astrology.
They're about to take our family. We can't have that discussion until sometime after 2030 because we can get off on that. And what's important? Parent child. So you right there with your children. Don't lose that to be a lecturer. But you can tell your grandchildren's story.
Look. I already told you before.
Okay, fine.
When it comes down to you forcing this issue about
they're forcing it, and I'm just repeating. They're going to catch as much
forcing the issue. You forcing
they're going to use procreation as much as it is effective. But if people still rely on their words, and I think people are more word loved than people love, they're gonna have to fight them.
We can talk about this another time because, like I said, when we get on the topic about the womb and the government and all this other stuff, like I
right now unified, and I guarantee you have plenty of time to tell a story.
Not the way you be going. Because I'll be getting so irritated with you that I gotta hang up on your ass sometimes because you be like, what the hell wrong?
But we get together and do what people who argue all the time too. We can make
because
that.
You be trying to argue your point, and like I said, I'm not here for that. I'm
arguing someone else's point, just like Jesus was.
Hey, how you can't argue? You can only argue your own.
He said, I and the Father are one, which means he's withstanding or in agreement or in compliance with the Father. He didn't say he's the same person. He didn't say he was a substitution. He says the Son. That means I'm the one signing in representation. But then again, there's your interpretation also. But we got to come to an agreement before we go into this war. Because the war is coming.
Oh, please believe. I'm very aware. And that's why I choose to speak and say the things that I'm saying because people like you try to silence me on things that need to be said. Because no. People like you constantly.
Your womb
when things need to be said, y'all don't say nothing. When y'all need to be saying making y'all voice heard to the people that need to be hearing it, y'all don't say nothing. You want to make your voice heard through me. A person who don't
No.
give a fuck about what's going on with what you saying, because
Gotta
I
care
can't
if
do
you're gonna
nothing
get
about
fucked.
that.
Gotta care if you're gonna get fucked. This
Everybody
movement
gonna
right
get
now.
fucked in this deal. Everybody about to get fucked in this deal. You already know. You already know what's set up for us.
I'm not talking about
You
the whole.
already know what's set up for us.
No, I don't know at all. But I do know we're agreement on the passport order. This
You
female,
the
this
one
male
who's sitting
take
up here talking about, oh, you know, you gonna get this and that is gonna happen, and you need to be prepared.
What I said now, and I don't think you capturing what I said earlier, and I don't think you're interested in capturing what I said earlier, because you're using the Lord of the Airs platform. If you was talking about truth, it'd be us standing in front of an incubator with a baby in it.
That's on another podcast, not tonight.
No, that's the only thing we can focus on right now, because right now we're children to the state.
When we talking about stuff like that,
if you ride on Roe v. Wade separatism and individual, I guarantee you will lose your children, because your idea is going to come contrary to that person, and that's all the court needs to take it. That's all you need. You open your mouth. You throw your evidence. You become state evidence. Now, please don't tell me you don't know the feudalism running the court. It's been that way since Octavius Augustus Caesar.
So because the government's gonna come after me, I just need to just shut the hell up.
Listen to yourself.
They're not going to come after you. That's what you're saying.
Come after you when you make their job difficult. So don't be
what
contrary.
Message am I giving that'll make the government come after me?
Contrary.
Giving my interpretation, giving my understanding.
Yes. Because if yours sound better,
and I see where, like I said, certain laws are being changed to where difficult. Freedom of speech is being taken away. And like I said, I've been dealing with that. Okay, because it's going on all on the platforms, and it's happening all over where people can't speak. People can't voice their opinions. Only time somebody can say something is not unless they're doing something stupid or they wilding out or something like that. But if you're talking and dropping gems and knowledge and stuff, no freedom of speech on that. You need to shut the hell up when it comes to that. You need to just silence yourself when it comes to that. Just be quiet. Other than that, I just need you to dance and entertain. Dance and entertain.
The person who that language is going to play. The person who used the word question.
I get what you're saying.
The person who used the word question just said was a slave.
Look, we went into the whole slave thing before. We went into the whole slave.
Because the world didn't lose slavery until 1965. India still had a caste society, and they're creating one here in America with Roe v. Wade. That's gonna be.
We're not going to talk about slaves right now.
Well, how about this? Voluntary service. Well, how about voluntary service? How about that?
No, because this podcast is about to end right now. Because I have other
stuff. Okay, we didn't leave that alone then.
I have other
stuff. You have a core. You can't just come in there all different. Somebody got to have something to talk to.
I have a scheduled reading to do.
No?
I have a scheduled reading to do at 10:15, so I really have to go. But I do plan on, I might come back on Sunday, but if not, I'll be back on Monday. You can debate all day. Well, night.
So you doing a monologue? What do you call things? When somebody does several parts by itself, you do a monologue. You have your own debate. You do the monologue debate.
Right.
Everybody in the government would have said, "Well,
you debate and tell me to silence woman like we back in the goddamn church."
No. I didn't tell you to silence.
No, but you saying that.
I said, do your womb right now because it's in agreement with everybody else's womb. I guarantee you, once you get past this sort of 9 or 8 years left, you have plenty of time to be vocal, to be controversial, but not now. Because people ready to blast some guns they passed out in August last year. All we need is the people getting louder and louder about a word, and then I don't know what's going on over there. then something happens, like someone drops a firework, and then you got people blasting your guns and you're laying down.
Yeah, like you.
Like me.
Well,
How's it like me?
you have a tendency of wanting to, you know, and just like, you know, scriptures, it's a control thing. And
Yes, so it's that. So sexual liberty. That's a control.
and this
How about
whole
privacy of your body?
violence thing
So a
is
man can't protect his unborn child. You
this
still
whole
think that's good?
violence thing is for the birds, for real.
So you got a parenting program that prevents parenting.
We're not
Whether
talking
or not
about
this,
tonight because I was just making a connection, and that was
but you did.
all
You did fine.
it was supposed to be
But you
about
use a
tonight.
dichotomy, which is
I
a compliment.
am
Sorry.
not
Sorry, I think
having
it's
a
about.
discussion when it comes down to kill. Well, we talking about that. You join me on another night all day when we talking about
Okay, well,
community,
if you
when
want
we're
to
talking
air it
about
live,
parenting, when we're talking about how in the Black community shit is all fucked up, how you know, blacks
by
is being
everybody
made.
interpreting the word, that's how it gets
No,
fucked up.
well, regardless of how who plays the blame game here, that's
Now,
we need to go
there.
into all of that. We need to be
No, we
able to
don't.
all of that.
That has nothing to do with anger people.
No, because see, what you do is you point your fingers, you put the blame on the other people, right? Instead of taking accountability on where you may have fallen
of where
short.
people are. Y'all in disagreement? We got the position, we're not.
I'm gonna say goodnight to you, and we can talk later.
You know.
But I'm
But you know
going
you're
to
all
end this
criminal with the
live
disagreement stuff.
because
So
I
I need to be
cannot
careful and
continue to
informed.
keep talking like this. After I've made myself clear, I have to do a reading at scheduled.
Okay.
So I will continue this live possibly Sunday at 3. If not, you can catch me back Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock on YouTube. I thank you all for watching. Randolph, I thank you for your input. Like I said, if you want to put your 2 cents in on this other topic when it comes down to parenting and these kids, I'm all for that because I definitely want to talk about that because that is a major issue, especially when it comes to us.
Because y'all give too much power to disagree with each other on petty stuff just because you can feel it.
I didn't get what you said. I'm glad. But
I get the power because I disagree with. I don't have a disagreement about that. I have a female who's agreeing with me. There's a child, and me and the government agree with that child. I'm in agreement on what I'm doing.
Well,
I'm
I'm glad you're in agreement with something.
I'm agreeing with the origin, the people. Children are people. You're arguing about ideas.
I'm not arguing about anything.
Okay, you're sharing ideas. I'm talking about people.
I'm talking about people.
No, you're talking about the people's ideas. That's that.
If anyone who would like to schedule a reading with me, you can contact me at Pamela Butterfly on Facebook in the Messenger. I'm not currently taking on other social media apps right now, just on Messenger, or you can be able to hit me up and I will be able to contact you via phone or video and I will schedule a reading. Okay. I thank you all for watching. Y'all please like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers up, trying to build this family, the Wisdom family on this channel. So please let people know that you are learning something different. Even though Randolph might say something, say that he disagree, right? But you are learning something different.
I say it's better way to present it.
You're learning something different, okay? That we can actually make connections to. We can actually show without being left with more questions what's what. So if you would like to get that knowledge, keep coming back at 9 o'clock Monday through Friday, and I'll be dropping them jewels, making connections, and we can make some sense about this whole thing. We're going to talk about symbols. We're going to talk about mythology, ancient spirituality systems, all of those things, and connecting truth in plain sight. I thank y'all for watching, and I'm out.